Savant.
Oh my stars, Cole Caulfield ties it.
He's in. He scores! Oh my! Demidov!
Well, it looks like all seems to be right once again within Habs Nation as the Montreal Canadiens come out victorious in the West Coast, Vancouver, BC, by a final score of 4-3. Welcome to another post-game show of the Curfew Boys. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you so much. Please click like and subscribe. It is absolutely free. Share this with your fellow Habs fans, friends, near and far. If you're tuning in on audio platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any podcast platform, thank you so much. Please give us an honest rating and review. A 5-star rating and review would be great. That's the only way we could feel the love. I am Sammy. He is Chris. I'll point that out. Hey, now, Chris. Now, we could all just take a deep breath. Another 2 points in the bank, especially after the 2 that were robbed in Edmonton. And I don't know.
Time robbery.
I don't know if Habs fans are over it, but I think Saturday night's win against the Canucks might ease that pain just a little bit more.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to go a long way in putting that ugly game in Edmonton behind us.
Mm-hmm.
But always trying to look on the positive side of things. Even if you take that game into consideration, and even though it was stolen from us, the Canadiens at this point in time, they're now 7-3. They should literally be 8-2, which would be a fantastic start. So, as however you want to spin it, however you want to look at it, the Canadiens are off to an amazing start of the season. Couldn't be prouder of the boys.
Absolutely. We're just going to take a moment to thank our sponsors. Habs Cave, Sue Neal has been following this team on the West Coast. He's been in Calgary. He's been in Edmonton. He was in Vancouver. I don't know if he's going to Seattle, but we're going to find out. Follow Sue Neal, Habs Cave on Instagram. An awesome person. Just a great page, Instagram page for every Habs fan out there. It's every Habs fan's dream of having a man's cave like the Habs Cave. Give him a follow on Instagram and on TikTok as well. Once again, thank you to our boy Sunil. Mike's Barbecue Rub. My buddy Mike in RDP creates his own barbecue seasoning. It can be used for your vegetables, your fish, your chicken, your meat. If it could be thrown on the grill, you definitely need to use Mike's Barbecue Rub. He also uses his own spices to season his very own kettle chips, which are absolutely amazing. So give my boy Mike a follow. Mike's Barbecue Rub, Instagram, TikTok, any social media platform. You could visit mikesbarbecuerub.com for any other details. Don't forget, folks, to rub your meat. And last but not least, to the Délices Lafrenière, some of the best pastries in Montreal, our favorite cannolis and zeppelis, especially in the month of March. But they have amazing, amazing designed wedding cakes. They are located in 6 areas, including Rosemere, Brossard, Saint-Julie, Montreal West, Pointe-Claire, and our hometown, St. Leonard. You could visit lesdeliceslafrenière.com for any other detail. You can follow them on social media platforms like Instagram. They are simply delicious, simplement délicieux. Well, tonight's victory against the Vancouver Canucks was delicious. That I can tell you all that for free, but it didn't start out on the right track. I wanted to see this team come out flying out of the gate, pissed off, angry, hungry after the way that game in Edmonton ended. You know, you had Cole Caulfield saying what he said. You know, the refs took over the game. You had Brendan Gallagher saying, you know, when emotions are high, give a guy a second. You know, don't need to call that. And he admitted, you know, he took some accountability. Can we keep our emotions in check too? Yeah, absolutely we can. But, you know, on the overall, when you make a mistake like the Slavkovsky penalty mistake, you know, are you really gonna call an unsportsmanlike just because Josh Anderson, threw the puck away and then started tapping his stick, like kind of, I guess you want to call it taunting the ref, whatever. You know what I mean? After all that that bullshit, I wanted this team to come out tonight flying out of the gate. Wasn't really the case in the first period. I thought they were flat, lacked focus, playing on their heels.
Yeah. I think there's an argument to be made that it was their worst period that they played since the beginning of the season or of this
Fair,
season, simply put.
fair.
Um, I too am with you. Like I would have expected a little bit more, but because I have a long-standing history of making Rocky analogies, I swear to God, it looked like Ivan Drago versus Apollo, just taking punches and not doing very much, and then the coach just yells,
What is he
yells.
yell? I listen. I
It's
don't.
just
I'm gonna butcher any Russian accent, but just a sign. Like I don't know what the heck he says. But what's the coach? What was his trainer in Rocky in Rocky 4? Like it's a slow motion. No, no. I keep forgetting the character's name. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do a quick search for that at some point this episode, or just try to remember it in between time. But no, it's exactly that. They started off a little bit on their heels, but it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish. And what a comeback by the boys tonight. Like seriously, a lot of character to come back and play like that. I think there's one major point. I'm just gonna slide my mic slightly over for anybody who's watching on YouTube. Or if you're not, if you're just listening, both Sammy and I are wearing two different colors of the same shirt. Ivan demigod shirts. I've got the red one on, Sammy's got the black one on. All this to say is the kid gets onto the first wave of the power play, and he had his first opportunity, partial opportunity against Edmonton with the
Yep.
one power play that they had,
Yep.
and then this game comes onto the power play, first unit of the power play that is, and goes 2 for 2 thereafter. Yes, technically they had a fourth one with a third power play this game, fourth in total with that one in Edmonton, but they're at 50% with
Hmm.
this kid on the first unit. And thank God that they didn't wait all the way to November. I know we're not very far away from November, but thank God they didn't wait till mid-November. Like what an impact he's having, and that if that power play can stay as lethal as that and contribute a goal or two per game, that's going to be the difference between like a top tier team. Maybe I'm exaggerating here a little bit, but
At least a
a
playoff
top end
team.
team. Yeah, a guaranteed playoff team. Thank
Well,
you.
but we've said this before the season started, maybe even during preseason, maybe before that. But we said that for this team to be a legit playoff contender or playoff team, whichever term you want to use, they're going to have to score power play goals. We all thought it was Patrick Laine that was going to be there. Now we got word that he's out for 3-4 months. Got surgery in New York. 3-4 month recovery time. We'll get a bit to that later on that particular subject of Patrick Laine and his injury. But it's I think the debate is over, even though it was obvious before it happened. You needed Ivan Demidov on that first power play unit. And I understand what Marty was trying to do. I think he was trying to balance, I think he had a good problem on his hands. I really think he did. I think he was trying to balance the two by putting Demidov and Laine, trying to keep them together because those two did have good chemistry on the power play. But now that Laine's gone, and you could kind of see that there was still something missing on that first power play unit. Patrick Laine's not there. That's why towards the end of last season it was so successful because he was just popping them in left, right, and center, right? So and no disrespect to Zachary Bolduc, who given the task he had a few times in the bumper spot, he scored at least 2 goals. He got 2 goals from that area, and good on him. But it's just you could just see it's blatantly obvious the skill level and the talent level. There's no comparison. I don't think there's anybody else on this team, at least among the forwards. Maybe you could argue Lane Hudson. Those two, like, thank God one is each their own position. It's over now. You can't. There's no way you could take the kid off the first power play. There's just no way.
Yeah. No, I think what you're going on to say is not only Lane Hudson, but Ivan Demidov with their cross ice passes and their vision. Um, like anybody who's literally standing on the opposite side of the net, whether it be Patrick Laine, whether it be Cole Caulfield, or whether it be Nick Suzuki, he finds a way to get that pass across. And like
It's
nobody
insane.
else on the team does it like him. He's just got that right patience. I don't know if it's his like I'd have to look more closely. I don't know if it's his eyes deceiving. I don't know if it's the fact that his as they say, it looks like his legs are detached from his upper body, like they're going in two different ways. It's just the fact that at the end of the day, he ends up faking out the other like defensive players, if you
Hmm.
will, of the
Hmm.
opposing team, finding that hole, and all the other player on the other side, again, whether it be Suzuki, Caulfield. I mean, those have been the primary guys, and Patrick Laine, who have been benefiting from these passes. Their only responsibility is to find that open space, and as soon as they find that open space, like how many times now has the net been completely open for like the easiest of goals versus it's two
Two
games
the
now
same.
that
The
Suzuki.
same.
Yeah, it's two both of Suzuki's goals, he scored the equivalent of empty net goals thanks to Ivan Demidov's passes. Literally.
And I've said this before. Players need to be ready for an Ivan Demidov pass out of the blue, because if your stick is on the ice, he's gonna find it, but the player needs to be ready to receive it. And so far, Nick Suzuki seems to be the only player that's been able to be 100% ready for that Ivan Demidov pass out of nowhere. And like you, empty net goals, they're the exact same style goals, the exact same, almost the exact same play, the exact same way. And it's, dude, I couldn't believe it. And then when he scored that third goal, or that third goal, excuse me, when he scored his goal and got his third point, which is what I want to say, like, I jumped in the air like a happy child, man. Like, I
Yeah.
had my better half next to me, being like, "What is wrong with you?" Like, I was because I want to see him score a goal like that. Like,
Yeah.
1-on-1 against the goalie, he's gonna deke the jock strap out of that goalie. It's gonna be hanging in the rafters. But I really want to see him score a nice one-timer shot,
Yeah.
and he did that. And even if it did deflect off the player's shin pad, but still, that was the right play at that moment. Play the game that's in front of you. Oh man, I jumped for joy, dude.
Yeah, no, I did the same. I've been sick for the past few days, and all that to say is that was probably the loudest I shouted. It was stronger than me, and all that to say is, very, very, very happy to see him score as well.
Mhm,
I'm gonna be nitpicky. Like
mhm.
we have been talking about him having difficulty with his one-timers. I mean, Demidov could have had another 2 goals, at least 1 goal. He whiffled on one
Oh
that went
yeah,
just
yeah, I
to the
remember that
right of
play.
the net.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we keep saying
Yes,
it, folks. He's gonna get his timing, and it's gonna get better. Like the goals are going to end up coming more and more. But it was kind of one of those first moments where he's fanned on a few one-time passes
yeah, and
and
that's
going for the
okay.
shot. So it's the first one that kind of went in. And you're like, okay, finally, there it is. He's
Well,
got it.
there's that.
He'll,
Well,
he'll get it.
there's that too, because it reminds me exactly when Caulfield came into the league. How many times did he fan on one timers just because from college straight into the NHL? And that was during that whole COVID year. So, like, the poor kid didn't have time to didn't have like a training camp or anything. And look how Cole turned out to be. Like, Cole's a natural goal scorer, but Ivan Demidov's talent, like, he's got too much of it to not be able to grow and adapt to NHL speed and whatnot, right? So, no,
Yeah.
there really isn't much to say except that if he stays on track, like, he's going to probably win a Calder Trophy. I don't want to jump the gun and get ahead of ourselves, but he's on the first power play, and
Matthew Schaefer, I have to
he's
say,
so good. He's
he is
disgusting.
so good.
He's
He's
disgusting.
he's a guaranteed in my books.
He's gonna be a finalist.
I think he's already going to be one of the finalists. Like, I hate to, and this is where I think you have to be fair as a Habs fan. Like, you
Hmm.
really really do. Ivan Demidov has like godlike abilities with the puck on his stick, but like you can tell, and this is what I'm saying, you can tell his physical game is not there just yet. Like, he
Hmm.
rolls off of a lot of guys. He has a little bit of difficulty. Like, you can see he slows down. He doesn't necessarily go and fight for the puck just yet. That'll come. He'll get his confidence. He's going to beef up a little bit. That's that. Also, his defensive game, nothing that he was truly at fault for. But I mean, even on the first to Canucks goal,
Yeah,
the pass across the ice, like
he
he's
could,
got a little bit of growing into his all round
which is
game
normal.
that
It's
he's gonna do,
normal.
which is normal. But that's why I say, like, if there's somebody that's gonna truly threaten, if Ivan Demidov wins the Calder, it's gonna be because he put up too many points. Like,
Hmm.
it's just gonna be the sheer number of points that's gonna lock Demidov into winning
Yeah,
that. But if
yeah.
you look at Matthew Schaefer on Long Island,
He's so
like, my
good.
God,
Wow.
he's so complete and he's so good, and he's automatically, I'd argue, the best player on their team as it stands. Like, he's a special, special player. So
Oh,
in the
1,000%.
eventuality,
Oh
yeah,
no, dude, I'm already a big Matthew Schaefer fan, and I was so disappointed when he got injured and he was left out of the World Juniors, and it's just crazy to me how he got into the NHL and he's just right away that good. I think the two, if they keep going the way they're going, they could be. They're definitely going to be Calder finalists. And good on Oliver Kapanen for being in the race too. I just don't see Oliver Kapanen being able to not catch up, but go at that rate for 82 games compared to the other two names we mentioned. But still, I still love what Oliver Kapanen is doing. And in all honesty, I'm still a big Owen Beck fan, but Oliver Kapanen is slowly winning over, I guess you could say, what we were hoping Owen Beck would be like, or at least the spot at center for Owen Beck. Right now, Oliver Kapanen is winning it, and it's kind of by a mile right now. That's why he's in the NHL. You could see he's a lot more mature physically for this level of being a professional hockey player. And I love Owen Beck, and I think he's going to do well in Laval again this year, which they won, by the way. Another Jacob Fowler W, by the way. But absolutely, dude. No, that's a great take about Matthew Schaefer. One player I was really happy for tonight. There's actually a couple, but I'm going to name this one and then I'll name another. Uh, Uri Slavkovsky
yeah,
played like a. He had a bad first period in my books. He looked lost. He looked lost out there, and then just as the game went, he started picking it up. And what I noticed is that his confidence started really growing in this game as soon as he was on the power play with Ivan Demidov. I don't know about you, but I noticed his game switch after that Nick Suzuki goal on the power play. He got an assist. Slavkovsky, 2 points, a goal, and an assist tonight. There's just something about his game afterwards. It just, he flipped the switch and he was able to play with confidence. He was forechecking, he was stick checking. Just things got better for him after that goal.
yeah. No, Slavkovsky. I think Slavkovsky is going to be one of the guys who stands to gain the most in having Ivan Demidov playing with him on the power play.
Mm-hmm.
I still, this is I'm going to sound like conspiracy theory Anthony, but I, for the life of me, can't understand why Slav doesn't get more passes on the power play. But if he's going to be floating around the net and getting into open space,
Which
I
is where he
guarantee you that
belongs.
Ivan Demidov is going to find the puck for him. Um, so yeah, I do think that Slav looked better and better as the game progressed. Laid a few good hits. Like, again, just It always amazes me to see just how good he is on the stick checking side and on the board battles. How like the sheer number of times that he comes out with the puck, like battling with 1 to 2 guys on the boards.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like he's got a very 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 good talent, and like it's not something that's entertaining, but for anybody who's watching the game and wondering why Cole and Nick can dominate and can keep the puck in the zone, offensive zone. It's in big part to Slavkovsky, who can, if
Thousand
those guys
percent.
fumble the puck, he's there to go dig the puck out and get it back to them. So it's just nice to see Slav now, as you're saying, it's nice to see Slav also benefit on the point side of things, where he's potting goals and he's putting up some
Mhm.
points. That is going to go so. I'm just going to say one last thing about Slavkovsky, and I
Mhm.
don't mean to make this sound derogatory, but I think Slavkovsky, 95% of the player that he's gonna become is up here.
Oh, a thousand
It's
percent.
like he's gifted by the hockey gods with, like, the body that he was given and his all-around capacities, but, a healthy and a happy Slavkovsky on the mental side of things is a very dangerous guy. I just wish he was a little bit more frustrated. An angry Slavkovsky is also something that's just wonderful to see, and it doesn't. We don't need to be. We don't need to see him angry all the time. But let's just start with a happy, positive-minded Slavkovsky putting up goals and points. That's going to go a far, far, far bit.
Another player I really liked, I actually thought was maybe the only one that showed up in the first period, and that created some chances, and then even in the second period created chances. His his trio might have led to the. I'm trying to remember if their pressure in the zone led to the first goal on the power play. I thought Kirby Doc had a very good game. I thought he was the only one generating chances. He was the only one skating. He was the only one moving. I really, really liked what I saw from Kirby Doc tonight.
But you know what's so funny about what you say? I feel as though you lined maybe not talking about the only player that showed up to play, but in a similar context. We started talking about Kirby Doc's game, the one of the previous episodes, and what one of the telltale signs, and I'm repeating myself now. Kirby Doc went into the zone and did somewhat of a spinorama. The
Yeah,
same thing.
yeah.
That was like the play that I'm just like, okay, this he's really trying. He's trying to be creative.
He was
He's
engaged.
fighting
Yeah.
for it. He's engaged, and that was so. It's funny when Kirby Doc does his spinorama moves. I guess we can consider him engaged in that thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree.
Well, no, but he was skating around like he was almost winning. He was winning a bit of these puck battles, uh, and he was trying to find guys that they had a chance to put it on net, and like he was the only one I thought in my opinion that's really or like call it the eye test, whatever. He was the only one that was engaged. I was really trying to create something, and I I had a thought like throughout the games, like yeah, they're down 2-0. You know what I mean. Jakob Dobish, like fuck, another win, man. And we're gonna end an episode on him. I thought the first period, him too, a couple of times. He looked like he was back to his old habits of being over aggressive and sliding a little bit too much. Uh, but anyways, he kept his composure. He kept it. The whole team basically wasn't fully sharp in the first period, and that includes Jakob Dolbish. But you know what? But for some reason, I still had that feeling that if the Canadians just score one goal, just give them one goal, and they're gonna flip the switch. They're gonna turn it around, and they did. They really, really did. And you know what? I don't want to compare this to the Edmonton game, but like the Canadians, the calls that were on Vancouver, they weren't bullshit calls. Like they were legit penalties. You want to argue about the Evander Kane? Us as biased Habs fans, it looked like a cross check. Was he just maybe kind of like he shoved Caulfield last second from behind because Caulfield spin? Well, we're obviously going to take it. We're going to take that penalty, even though we didn't score on it. it created momentum for the Canadiens. And then Mike Matheson, man, another like pump fake.
Jimmy.
Yeah, I think he's trying to channel his inner Lane Hudson, and this time it worked. And yeah, what a snipe! What a Mike Matheson snipe, man! The 2 goals now, I think, scored the exact same way. That was brilliant. It was beautiful.
But was it Kirby Doc or was it Kirby Doc or was it Zach Bolduc who completely screened the goaltender on that one? Like there was a flyby in front of the net.
Yeah, one or the other. It was. But again, it
one.
was that line. Yeah. Yes, yes.
So you know what? I'm also going to go back to what you said, and I don't want to step on somebody while they're down, but if I can actually be honest about something that truly did happen when, like, against the Oilers, when it was 5-5 and we were getting to the last minute and 40 mark, give or take, I picked up my phone and I have some of my other childhood friends that talk hockey in the middle of the game, and we kind of keep track. And I literally started typing, "This is where you start to get worried that Monty, like he's not giving me that confidence. He's not making me feel as though
Yeah,
we're even
yeah,
going to make it to overtime." And literally, as I'm typing this, like in the time that it took me to pick up the phone, type it out, I was like, "This is the time of the game where," and they scored, and I was just like, are you fucking?" Maybe I shouldn't have even said it or started typing it in the first place, but I say that,
it's because of you. You
and this
jinxed it.
maybe, but me, I'm just saying, like, I look at Jakub Dobeš, and yes, in the first period, he was a little over aggressive, but like, I really didn't get the sense. I had the sense that he was gonna lock it down for us. Like,
Hmm.
at no point in time was I feeling like, "Oh, crap, this is gonna go to overtime. Oh, crap, the Canucks are gonna tie it up," or whatever. Like, seriously, Monty has been dialed in and sorry, Dobish has been dialed in, and Monty has not been necessarily overly reassuring. He looks small in his net. He's leaving all sorts of holes, and I'm just sorry to say it for Monty's account because I like him as a human being and I like him as a Montreal Canadiens teammate for the rest of the guys on the team. But Jakub Dobeš is inspiring so much confidence in this team. The team goes and gets 3. Forget it. If there are 4 goals that the Canadiens score, which I think the Canadiens still are going to remain at the top of the league with as the number one, as the team with the most goals for. Like Jakub Dobeš has been doing such a fantastic job.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
I
I
sorry,
don't know
Chris.
who's going to be starting the next game.
Oh boy, I think we just opened up a can of worms in terms of that debate. Look, right now I'm on the NHL website, nhl.com. I'm looking at stats. Unless they didn't update it, Jakub Dobeš is still top of the league with a 1.47 goals against average.
They didn't update it.
They didn't update it? Okay.
They didn't update it.
Well, because even here I have like Cole Caulfield was in the lead for goals. Now it says here he's tied with another 5 players. Nick Schmaltz, Mark Scheifele, Seth Jarvis, Logan Cooley, and Pavel Dorofiev, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So I don't know. Uh, is Lane Hudson at 8 points? I'm shoot. I should have.
No, Lane Hudson's at 9 points now.
Is that 9?
It's
Okay,
I
well,
promise you. I promise you because look, Lane Hudson, I
I
can show
have
you this up close. This
I
is
have
going
at
to be
8 over
blurry.
here. I'm on the NHL. I'm
Yes,
on the Canadiens website.
but I'm on the Canadiens app, and I love the app for that reason. It says games played 9. They're
Yeah,
now at 10 games
they're at
played.
10. Yeah, okay, that makes sense then.
So Suzuki should be at 13. Caulfield, yeah, is going to have 7 goals in 10 games
Yeah,
played.
they're at 10. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so anyways, all that to say is now uh the only reason why I would think Marty puts Sam Montembeault against Seattle is because he won against Seattle at the home opener. I had mentioned this in the previous episode with Zook. That's the only way, especially now more than ever. That's the only way I could see this happen because, yeah, he beat this team. Maybe Marty wants to relaunch Monty's confidence. But on the flip side, dude, you're the final game of October. You're at like you said, you're at they're at one, two, three, four. They're at 7-2. They could have been 8-1.
8-2.
What did I say? 8-1.
8-1. We're
Yeah,
at
you're
we're
right.
at
Sorry,
10
sorry.
games.
Yeah. Sorry, we're at 6-3. Yeah. Oh my god, what am I saying? Oh my god, my math is not good. It's late. All that to say is, this is embarrassing.
7-3
We're
currently.
7-3. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I think Dolbesh is earning these starts, though. It's not about deserving. It's earning. You got to earn every step in the NHL, and Jakub Dolbesh is earning those starts. I don't know how you don't go with Dolbesh on Tuesday against Seattle. And maybe we could go this way. You give Dolbesh a start in Seattle, and if he wins or loses, knock on wood, the Canadiens get a couple of days off. They get 3 days off, and then they face the Ottawa Senators Saturday, November 1st in Montreal. Maybe you give Sam Montembeault that game at home.
Oh
Maybe.
man. My opinion. Oh, oh man, yeah. Yeah, this is a problem because there's
Mm,
two schools of thought. I think, and you have to look at it this way, even Vancouver Canucks, they played their backup goaltender. We're going to play against Seattle. Seattle's not going to be a team that's going to be barking like, in our backyard and competing with us to get into the playoffs. I I would like to see Monty play against Seattle.
okay.
It's one of two things. I'd like to see Monty play against. I'd like to see Dobesh play against Seattle,
Okay.
but even more so if Ottawa and Seattle were to be a split, I would rather see Dobesh play against Ottawa because that's the more important of the two games. If if Monty
Yeah, I see what you mean.
doesn't play well and those points are lost, so be it. I rather we lose those points against Seattle, and then
Mhm.
when it comes time to play against a division rival, on top of it all, we want to win. It's a 4-point game. It's a
Yeah.
huge game. It's a statement game, and I I think Dobish is your guy. So you know what? I won't be angered. I won't be angered if I won't be angered if Monty plays against Seattle. What is going to bother me is if Monty just automatically gets the start against Ottawa, strangely enough.
Yeah, I could see what you mean, and I could see why. And it's crazy how the mindset of the fan base has completely switched because I think we all generally feel we're at that mode now, like win as many games as possible because we need to make playoffs after last year. And if we want to see progress, we need to see wins. And it's not like it's not like the previous years where like we lost, it's okay, we lost. Like it's a young team, they're growing, they're learning. It's at a different level this year. And you know, I think on the flip side, if Monty was winning and Dobesh was losing, I think the general feeling would be like, well, play the winning goaltender instead. And it's
Yeah.
and because the last thing I want to do is, how there was that whole Struble versus Jackeye in the lineup bullshit that I couldn't
Yeah.
stand among the fan base. We're doing that now with our goaltenders, and I still hate it. I really, really do. But I'm also man enough to admit that like we need the wins. And if Dobesh is the guy that's giving you the wins, then he's the guy you got to give the starts as much as possible. We always knew it's going to be a rotating thing. We always maybe predicted that Monty was going to get more games. But right now, it's just not looking good for him. And like you said, you don't want to beat a guy down while he's laying down. But if we're in the business of winning and needing to make playoffs and needing those 2 points, you need to put Dobesh in.
Well, oh man, like this I am going to approach with a great amount of sensitivity, an extreme amount of sensitivity. For so long, and there are certain individuals who still think this way, and it has to be said. Like, we're not gonna dive around it. I love Zachary Bolduc. I
Mm-hmm.
love Carrier. I love Mike Math. Well, I like Mike Matheson. Let's call a spade a spade. I really like Mike Matheson's game. I love Mike Matheson's game this year, and I love him as a human being. Um, I'm I'm very proud that we have even Joe Valeno. Like, I'm very happy that they have Quebecers and Montrealers, whether they be Anglophone or Francophone, doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the one thing that I will say is, and we saw it, like, pardon me for saying this, but I think if Sam Montembeault is playing anywhere outside of Montreal and he's putting up these numbers and these styles of performances, it's not even a debate as to who's starting, and the switch would have been made. I know that there's a tendency to want to protect guys that are from here,
Mm-hmm.
Quebecers that are from here, and I'm happy that we have that mindset that we protect our own. But we do, like, we are now progressing, as you said, into the business of winning. And I want to ask, like, a rhetorical question in a certain sense for the fans who are listening. Again, uh, got engaged to Quebecois. I love the Quebec population. I'm just telling you the following: if we were in the business of just, again, the importance of speaking French and everything like that, well, then I'm sorry to say, but Jeff Gorton and even to a certain sense, Kent Hughes might have not been the guys for the job, and we would have never been in the position that we are today. And if we want to be in this position of winning, we might have to put aside this notion of absolutely without, without any sort of leeway, always protecting the guys just because they're from here. And again, it's sad because I do not want to see Monty fail. I want to see every single one of these. If every single one of the players on the team could put up 100 points, I'd be doing backflips. If everybody was tied for points across the board, but we were winning, that's all I want. I just want to see them win, like you said. And um, I'm just hoping that this doesn't become this goaltending battle does not become a like we have to
I
protect our guy here from Quebec. And I'm sorry, like, it's a very sensitive topic. It's a very, very sensitive topic, but I'm just saying, I'm hoping that we could look at it that yes, we take care of Sam Montembeault. We look out for his well-being. We don't throw him under the bus, for the love of God. We know
there
that he's going to bounce back, but for the moment, if he's not playing well, can we not allow Jakub Dobeš to get more starts without blinking an eye?
look. You've been using the term "let's call a spade a spade." Yeah, like we love seeing local guys, local Quebecers have success in this team. But let's be honest here; they are the one with the most pressure because they're from here. And let's go another step further. Like there's a lot of members from the francophone community that sometimes want these guys out if they don't perform well. It's not just, and I don't mean to make this an Anglo versus francophone discussion. That it's not about that, but like, man, at one point in time, let's look in the '90s. The best goalie in the world during that time, Patrick Roy, was almost exiled from the fan base. There's a lot of members of the Montreal Canadiens fan base that wanted Patrick Roy out of town. And let's rewind just a couple of years back. A lot of people from this fan base, Anglo or Francophone, wanted Jonathan Drouin out of town. That's just what it's part of the market, like Marty said. Marty St. Louis, he's a Quebecois. He's a French Canadian from Quebec. There were members from the fan base and even from the media, both Anglo or Franco, whatever. At some point, we're like, maybe this guy wasn't the coach for us with that coached the Pee Wee team and then came straight to the NHL. It's part of the market. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have members from this fan base, English speaking or French. When it comes to the local boys, there's a lot more pressure on them to perform. And if they don't, some of them need to be exiled. We did it with Mike Matheson last year, who's a local guy. Just because his family name is not a French Canadian name, he's still a local guy. Everybody wanted him gone. It comes with the market, and it's unfortunate. It's a passionate fan base. There's a lot of stupid people in this fan base, not including us. Sorry to say, just saying. But
Sometimes,
sometimes
we can be.
but we joke. We're not. We joke. We're serious. We joke. Whatever. It comes with the territory, Chris. We've known that. And listen, I honestly think. Look, I don't want to make this any more of a political debate or a language
Cultural,
politics,
if you will. Yeah.
yeah, or whatever you want to call it. I personally think it's important to have the French language within this organization. It's been in this. It's been in the blood of this team for a century plus. So for me, that part is important to address the French language. And listen, I think majority of the French population are extremely happy with Kent Hughes. They're extremely happy with Jeff Gorton, even though he's an Anglophone American. Kent Hughes, he's an Anglophone from Montreal. He can still speak French. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Yeah.
I think
I guess
even though they're not French Canadian men, they know the importance of the French language. They know the importance of winning, bringing winning ways back. I think for the most part, members of the French Canadian community, Montreal or Quebecers, are happy having Jeff Gordon and Kent Hughes running the show.
100%. I guess to go like full circle, and what I'm trying to allude to is sometimes we just want to blindly give the benefit of the doubt to the guys who are from here.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who I have in mind is Sam Montembeault. And that's where I'm gonna say they call a spade a spade. I look at Alexandre Carrier. I don't know what this team would do without him.
Oh my
I
God!
really, I really
Oh
like
yes.
I think Alexandre Carrier is probably the best example of all the Quebec-based players. Well, you can use Mike Matheson, but I like the example of Alexandre Carrier. He is indispensable. He's an absolute need on this team. He came in, he was a complete breath of fresh air. He looks even better this year.
2 points
And
tonight, by
that
the
is a
way.
guy. Yeah, well, there you go, and that's a guy who should and is earning his time, and that's what I'm trying to say. Just because Sam Montembeault, like I'm just saying, as a fan base, as a Quebecer, you have to put that. There's naturally going to be some favoritism towards the guys who are from here, and that's the
Mhm.
way it should be. That's you heard we grew up with Don Cherry saying, "Oh, good Canadian boy playing for a Canadian team," and that's what we need. Well, like you said, the Montreal Canadiens, the francophone and the Quebec culture is a part of this team. You look at Jean Beliveau, you look at the Rocky, you look at the staples of this organization and the guys who have brought absolute greatness to the history of this winning organization. Yes, it's important to have guys from here. All I'm saying is we are getting into a spot
Oh, a
with this
thousand
team
percent.
where we are in the business of winning,
Yeah, a
and I
thousand
do
percent.
not think Sam Montembeault at this moment in time does not deserve his spot as the number one goaltender until he figures his shit out. Until he proves us when he proves us wrong, and the day that he proves
I
us wrong, because he will bounce back,
I think he
you're
will
more than
too.
welcome.
But
Yeah.
and to the example of Alexandre Carrier, right now, you know what you're getting out of Carrier every game. But right now, unfortunately for Sam Montembeault, you don't know what you're going to get out of him. You know you're going to get a guy that's going to do whatever he can to win. You know that that he cares about this team more than anything. We all know that. We're not even questioning that. But level of performance, you don't know if he's going to play well or if he's going to let in one bad goal that's just going to shatter his confidence for the rest of that game. I hate to name drop here, but did you hear what Renaud Lavoie said? Renaud Lavoie from on BPM Sport, what he said? He said,
No, I didn't hear.
he said, man, he's like, I looked at Sam Montembeault the last game, and he's like, I, I, I thought I saw a very low confident Caden Primo. I was like, damn,
Mm.
dude, like, damn, that's rough. That's rough. And this is not, I'm not throwing darts at Renaud Lavoie. I'm just repeating what, and it's on social media.
We're
He's
just
expressing.
repeating what's out
I'm
there
just
already.
repeating what's out there and expressing. But you hear that, and it's like, and listen, Renaud Lavoie follows a team everywhere. He's been with the team for quite a few years now. Like, he could catch a vibe or two from this team, and for him to say that, it's like, oh, you hear that. Not for him to say that, excuse me, but when you hear that, you're like, oh, damn, and it's unfortunately a little obvious to all of us too. So I look. I don't want to go further about this Sam Montembeault Jakub Dobish discussion, but I told Zook last episode I don't think there's a goalie controversy within the team. I think there's maybe one being created by the fan base, maybe the media, which, like I said, comes with the territory, and it's you and I. I don't think you and I I don't think the Curfew Boys are creating a controversy, but we're just sharing our honest thoughts here. The more we see Jakub Dobish play and the more he wins, the more we think he deserves, or excuse me, he's earned more starts, and that's it. We're not saying this because we hate Montembeault. No, not even close.
No, exactly, and not like I said, I ideally, in a perfect world, if both of them are playing outstanding hockey and they split it right down the line, whether it's in balance, if we can go 82-0 with them being perfect, both of them, I'd be super happy. If we can go 82-0 and it's only one of the guys carrying the team on his back, hey, so be it. It might be
Yeah.
unfair, but I just want to see this team win, and we want what's best for Montembeault. And unfortunately, I think of the whole team, he's one of the few guys who look at from afar and or even from up close, and we say, "Ooh, like
It's rough.
Sam, you take your time and get better, man. You're in your." And I think the I don't want to go back to like we should be talking about Vancouver versus Montreal and what happened tonight, but it's all as to what's to come for the next games for the Montreal Canadiens and who's going to be in the net. But like the big one for me is on one of the tip in goals. I think it was the Adam Henrique tip in goals.
Mm-hmm.
It it was tipped downwards and through Monty's
Yeah,
pads,
yeah, yeah. Almost the
and
same like
you saw him, like, hesitate and close his eyes and then drop down, like, just a little the little hesitation makes all the difference in the world, and I'm not a goalie coach, I'm not a goalie, but I wrote to the chat, and you were the first to respond to it, and just said, like, "You can clearly see, instead of instinctively just getting into position and covering as much of the net as possible, he's thinking about, like, oh shit, this is how I should react. Okay, this is how. Stefan Waite, I listened to him speak more recently. So, former goalie coach of Montreal Canadiens, and particularly worked with Gary Price and even Sam Montembeault himself. He said like um, he was basically saying that like Monty at this point in time, he goes, it's not maybe, it's for sure that instead of just saying, "Hey, what do I have to do to stop the next shot?" He's in his mind probably saying like, "Oh god, I can't let in the next shot." And
hmm
he went on to make the analogy that that is absolute like poison for a goaltender.
hmm
And like I said, to stop it right there with Monty, all on behalf of the Curfew Boys, we want to see him back up and dominating. We want to see him splitting the games with Dobesh. Um, and and like I said, we want to see him playing his best hockey. Like to see him back with Team Canada. I only think that's going to do him good. But there's no buts. It's just we wish you. Well, we hope that you find your game as soon as possible. But for now, Dolbesh has earned the nets. Let's Let's call it as it is.
Let's call a spade a spade.
There you go.
What let's just end the show on this final question. Patrick Laine out 3-4 months on a contract year, playing with not a groin injury. Was he playing with did he say it was a hernia?
Hernia.
Herniated
I
muscle
don't
or
I don't I don't I don't think it was a herniated disc. It was
no,
I
no,
think
not a
something in
disc.
the abdomen. It was in
Yeah,
the
it was
abdomen. It was a hernia.
in his core, and my God, that must have been painful to play through. What do you think happens to him, man? I don't know anymore.
Well, two things. Number one is it kind of explains why I still found him a little bit slow in
Yeah,
terms of his skating this year, and I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh, okay, that would make more sense." The other thing too is, and I say this with the utmost respect to Patrick Laine, but because of his speed that he was bringing to the ice, I actually like Joe Veleno. He's a better fit, and I wanted to get into one stat. I know we ended up talking goalies for a long while, but did you guys see? Did you see? I'm saying, guys, you're one guy doing the show with me, but did you see the face-off percentages? Nick Suzuki was 73% with nearly 20 face-offs taken. Um, Jake
yeah,
Evans was 62%, Joe Veleno was 75%, and Oliver
yeah,
Kapanen was 57%.
yeah,
Fantastic night in the face-off dot, but and that's why I say, what happens to Patrick Laine? I don't know, because unless he can really get his speed back and prove it, Ivan Demidov might be the reason as to why that group of 5 players is gonna play a minute and a half, and then it's gonna be the scraps of time that are remaining for the second wave of the power play, and then as far as 5 on 5 goes, I think Joe Veleno has been a better fit because of his usefulness with the faceoffs and his speed that he brought to the game. If
yeah,
Patrick Laine could bring that speed back, hey, for sure, but at the end of the day, if you're asking me to give a prediction, I don't think Patrick Laine has much. It sucks to say, but I don't think he has much of a future with the Canadians unless he could come back and he could truly be, bring another gear and skate that much faster and put up points at 5 on 5 play, and that it sucks because he's a good dude. He's been through a lot. I love that little swag that he brought to the team, but I just don't think the way that it's going and with the kids that we have in the pipeline, a guy like Patrick Laine, unless he takes a ridiculous discount, I don't know how he fits
yeah,
on the team.
yeah. And maybe if they resign him 1-2 year deal max, I say max, and even at that, it's tough to tell. But like I think especially now with this injury, oh, I think Kent Hughes is gonna have to look at this and be like, oh, look, man, we need to reevaluate things with you, and it's unfortunate. It's so unfortunate, and it all makes a lot of sense. Like you said, I'm not gonna repeat most of the things you just mentioned, but they're gonna have to do some soul searching, like all three of them, and by all three I mean Jeff Gordon, Kent Hughes, and then at some point Marty too in his lineup. They're gonna have to do some soul searching on how to put this guy back in the lineup if and when he's good to go. And of course, you want his shot any day of the week. But again, if you're not utilizing it, if you're not if you're not changing that first power play unit, it's tough
Yeah,
to tell, and
exactly.
it sucks. I feel for the guy. I feel bad for him, man. He just can't catch a break. But maybe getting this surgery is something he's going to need that to maybe give himself one last shot in the NHL for hopefully multiple years. But we're gonna have to deal. We're gonna have to deal without him, and we're not exactly in a bad place without him. It's not like last season now, at least the way the season started. When we didn't start last season with him, we started without him. It wasn't great, not even close. He comes back and slowly relaunches things. So we'll see what happens in 3-4 months. But nonetheless, we wish Patrick Laine a speedy recovery, and we really hope he gets better soon.
Yep.
And when that time comes, like look forward to seeing what happens then. And that's all I got for tonight's
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, just to reiterate, what a win. Boys are off to a great start. Out of 10 games, would you have thought that the Canadians would be leading the Atlantic
I thought,
Division after 10 games?
nope, I did not. I thought it was going to be, Toronto. I thought it was going to be the three typical ones: Toronto, Florida, Tampa. Florida, as soon as we all got the news they lost Barkov for the season, that's when I was like, oh, they're still deep enough to they still have a great amount of talent on that team, but it kind of goes to show they went to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row and probably didn't have the necessary break they needed. You ask them, it's a million percent worth it. They're back to back Stanley Cup champions, but they're also paying the price for it for now. And again, it's still early. But to answer your question, Chris, no, I did not expect them to be top of their division. I did not expect Detroit to be there. And mind you, Florida's only a few points behind. They're not even that far behind. I did not expect Buffalo to be up there. I did not expect Tampa to be at the bottom either. I didn't expect Toronto to be having a slow start. But you know what? Good, good. I'm gonna say this, Chris. And I'm gonna say this to you in front of your face, and to all our audience members, you're not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I low key want to see Mitch Marner and Vegas win the Stanley Cup just to give Toronto a big. That's all. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. I'm gonna say this. I really, really do, man. I want to see Mitch Marner win the Stanley Cup just so he could laugh in Toronto's face, the same way Nazem Kadri laughed in Toronto's face when he won the cup with Colorado. If I see like that, to me, you couldn't even put a price on the amount of happiness I will feel. Aside Montreal Canadiens success, okay, yeah, I I'm not backing down on what I said, man. I really, really
I
don't.
No, I'm right there with you. I'm not a big fan of the Vegas Golden Knights organization. I feel as though they had it very easy, given to them very easy from the time that they came into the league. That's a fan base who didn't know the suffering as we suffered, but all that to say is that yeah, I'd love to see it. And we go back. I'm gonna have to get the clip, but we go back to the episode that you and I
I
recorded
know,
with
I know what
with
you're talking
Nick
about. Yeah, yeah.
and I said, I don't know why people are so I think I said, I don't know why people are so high on Toronto.
Hmm.
Like, they're having a clear identity crisis. You're talking about Buffalo. Well, the reason why Buffalo is up there because out of I think it's now 3 games against, Toronto, Buffalo has 5 out of 6 potential points
I
in those
know,
games. So,
I
like,
know.
Toronto, like and Buffalo's been crappy too. Like Buffalo has the majority of their points have been secured by playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Toronto Maple Leafs don't know who they are, and they're not the same team. Their power play, their penalty kill, and their 5-on-5. Their top goal scorer doesn't who passed the puck, who got his passes to him by the same guy for years on end is no longer there. There was no doubt in my mind that you could go get some grit and you can go get some character guys, but there's no way, like Moneyball this shit. There's no way that you're
I love
replacing
that movie. I love that
you're
movie.
not getting you're not getting that production. There's no way that you're gonna replace Marner just like that. So bravo, Toronto. You chased you chased one of your most important players. Yeah, was he a playoff player? No. But now you still have, let's say, three quarters, if not 80% of the same core that's still in place, except you have one of the engines that's been powering all the points for those other guys who now walks away. And what do you think is gonna happen?
It's
Like,
so funny. It's so funny you mentioned Moneyball because I've been just watching like little mini clips from that movie recently.
so good.
It's so good. Well, just because the whole science behind the whole get on the on base percentage, but I'm gonna end it on this. Like, if we think Quebecers are hard on their local boys, just look at a province over and look what Toronto did to one of their own. Look what Toronto did to one of their own. So you know what? We're actually not that bad in comparison to other members of other fan bases. And I'm gonna end it on that. Oh, you bought it?
I
Oh,
bought it. So
nice.
we had Ken Reed on the show a little while back. His
Yeah,
book finally came out, folks. I'm about a chapter and a half in, so I just got
I've
it
been
today.
meaning to purchase it.
$20 on Amazon, no excuses, delivered to your door in less than a day. Uh, the next one basically talks about the scouts who are up in the stands and traveling, globally, and how they came about picking these top tier, or these guys that panned out to be top tier talents, um, or just solid NHL players when they seemingly had no business even getting scouted or seen in any way, shape, or form. Very interesting read so far. And again, Mr. Ken Reed, well done. I cannot wait. I'm going to give updates as I read the book, maybe a little
That's awesome.
sneak peeks, one or two reminders here and there to encourage people to go get his book. Love Ken Reed, great guy.
Yeah, he's great.
Can't wait to have him back on the podcast.
I wonder, just yeah, same. I'm just gonna look at the score real quick. Oh, the Dodgers win Game 2 by final score 5-1. I don't think guys at Sportsnet are gonna like that tonight.
Did you watch
I watched
who
Game 1. Yeah.
killed the no
Who
who
killed
killed
the
the
Expos on net? Yes, I
Expos?
did, and it broke my heart. It broke my heart. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. It broke my heart.
So it was basically the culmination of multiple bad business decisions,
Yeah,
and
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I
And the
I'm gonna
strike,
be that,
and the strike in '94.
and
Yeah,
yeah, that
yeah.
was that. Well, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna make a lot of enemies very quickly, but I I know that we only have one Canadian baseball team, and I know that even our own respective Montreal Expos Twitter account went and encouraged Toronto and cheered them on, saying, "Go get this, go win this World Series." I I just can't cheer on anything from Toronto. I
I'm
really can't.
okay. I cheered for the Raptors when they won. I'm cheering for the Blue Jays just because they're the only Canadian team, but I'm really cheering for them because of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's my top reason for cheering for the Toronto Blue Jays. There's cheering for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and then second is cheering for the only Canadian team in Major League Baseball. That's my take.
You're a better
That's
man than I am.
yeah. You don't need to tell me. It's okay. I know. I'm just joking. All right, buddy. I think we're gonna wrap this up. Listen to our audience members. Thank you once again. If you watched this entire episode on YouTube, thank you so much once again. Like and subscribe. Share with your Habs fans, friends around the world. It is absolutely free. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or any podcast platform, thank you so much. Give us an honest rating and review. Like I said, maybe a 5-star rating. That would be helpful. It would be the best way for us to feel the love. A big thank you to our sponsors, Les Délices Lafrenière, Habs Cave, Mike's Barbecue Rub. Give them all a follow, Instagram and any other social media platform. You can follow the Curfew Boys on social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter, also known as X, and TikTok. And that's that. Next game, Tuesday night. It's a late one against the Seattle Kraken, 10:30 p.m. Chris, thanks a lot. Fun as always. Go Habs, go. We'll see who gets the start. And we hope to see you guys soon. Until then, bye now.
I know.
Good night.